All right, how you doing out there, all you devils? Sam here. It's kind of mid-morning here on a Saturday, and I wanted to just do a little update video here for two reasons. One, I think I've got a count here that I prefer to what we were looking at yesterday, if you happen to catch the Friday video. And then I wanted to clarify a little bit about this survey based on some of the comments and emails and questions I've received overnight here. Perhaps I didn't do a very good job of explaining how we're going to do this. Now, if you're already a member, as in either a free member or a paid member within, so that would mean you're within our Discord, then you don't need to worry about this. You will already be participating in the survey because we're going to send it to you via email. Now, if you're a YouTube sub and you're not already a member and you'd like to participate in this survey giveaway, right? Again, as I went through yesterday, we're trying to get information from you to dictate what kind of content we produce going forward. So if you're not yet a member and you would like to participate, the only way to participate is to come over here and create a free account. Now, as I said before, so this is TradeDevils.com. You would come up here on the top, plans and pricing, then click over here. You would click select free. Now again, there's no credit card, there's no obligation, there's no nothing, but this will put you into our system so that you can then participate in this survey. Right? So I had several people saying, hey, where's the link? I don't see a link to the survey. Well, number one, we haven't sent it out yet. It'll likely go out Monday, and we're going to wait. We're give it a whole week for people to register, participate, so people may take some time here. We'll probably promo this a few more times before we do the drawing next Friday. So if you'd like to participate, plans and pricing, create a free, well, I don't want to discourage you from participating in a paid account if that's what you're interested in. But if you're just in it for the, hey, maybe see I can win half a Bitcoin or a full month educational or social, if that's what you're in it for, which is fine, right? Again, I hope you'll participate in the survey, right? If you don't fill out the survey, you don't participate here. You can't just create a free account and then, hey, well, here's half a Bitcoin. We'd like you to participate in the survey, right? Again, that's the point of it, is to help you guys, right? So I wanted to clarify that. Okay, with that said, I did that in 2 minutes. Okay, good. Hopefully that's clear. That's clear. If you have questions, you're uncomfortable, like, I don't know what I'm committing to here, just write us. We'll clarify it here. You just click it once, you'll see it's, well, here, it's all you're going to do is, you see that I already have an account, so it's going to go create your account. It's very, 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 very simple. All right, let's go over to Bitcoin here, because I think I've got a count here that I prefer to what we were looking at yesterday. I've just kind of been working on it this morning. So what I've done here, I'm highlighting where we have where we have impulses, right? Where we can. I suppose Elliottians might differ on some of this here, but you certainly can make a case for an impulse here, retrace, an impulse here, retrace, a much larger impulse here. When we're talking about this looks like a running flat, and then an impulse here. Well, kind of digging through it this morning, not sure I was happy with where we are, looking for alternates as I'm constantly doing. Did I miss something? What is there a better way to look at this? Is there an opportunity here? I think this count's going to lead to a trade that's setting up. Well, I think the key to all of this, because you kind of, you look at the mess here and you kind of want to clump all of this together, and then you kind of want to clump all this together. So it feels like 1, 2, 3. This is very 4-ish and 5 coming. Well, let's break it down individually here and see if we can make sense of this. I think the key technical, what do I want to say, component of this that I think dictates the count here is this, that in this impulse right here, which I've labeled as this one wave, this impulse here projected from the proposed 4 here, we got to wick through it, but the body of that candle is hitting the 100%. So it's very close to parity length of the 1 from the proposed 4 being at 100%, very common target. And of course we get the upper lip of that channel. So now I've extended it out to accommodate the throw over here. But this, I think that is an important piece, right? So this being from here and equaling that is a quality that I think locks in this count. Now, just to further clarify, and because this is a little unusual here, but it's a textbook running flat. So we've got to trade this as an A, a B, and then coming down here for the C. Now you say, all right, well, does it qualify, right? For purists, right? Purists, this is all for you. So I've changed, well, here, let me show you. I've changed this. So this is now the 90%. Can you see that? This is the 90%, right? To qualify. So is it for a purist, a valid running flat? So from the pivot high. If I get right on it, we get here. We are a couple of wicks through. Remember, that's the 90%. You can't see it here. That's the 90%. So we are through. You can do it yourself, right? If I get that right on there. So we are through 90%. So if this is an A, yeah, it's a bit of a sloppy B, but you'd have to go A, B, C, and you can get the B over here because this is slightly higher. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 down for the C. So I get a textbook running flat, which is why I put the 4 here. Then I get an impulse to finish. Now, granted, that's just a giant pump wick in the 5. So is it perfect? Not perfect, but that parity here between the 1 and the 5 has me very confident now planning the 3 here of the internal impulse there. So we're still dealing with, this is problematic down here because of the overlap here. So you can't group this together as a 1, 2, 3, right? If you want to be rigid about the rules. But the 1, 2, you know, I mean, of course, right? This may end up getting invalidated. It may be that there's something else going on here. But for the bull case, of which I remain a bull, it's going to be interesting to see how this resolves here. But right now, I think from this low here, this pivot, we get a completed, we've got a 1, 2, 3 that we can complete and stay consistent with all Elliott rules and guidelines, right? It solves some of the problem of this as I was looking at yesterday. Could this be the running flat? We've got an expanded B. I think that solves that problem. So this is a cleaner count. So upon seeing that, normally I don't do these kind of updates, but I felt like we needed to do that. And so in conjunction with clarifying this issue here, I wanted to come back here because I do think this sets up a trade. So if this is potentially now an ABC, if this is the A and we've got a little 3-wave B here and we're coming down for the C, well, this lines up perfectly with this nice big fat volume cluster sitting right there. So let's measure it. If this is indeed going to hold as the 2, and this is now a completed impulse here for the 3, well, here's the 38 lining up rather nicely with that big volume cluster in this prior pivot and all of this congestion. So if we're coming down here, I do think this is a place where you can look to be getting bullish or, you know, adding to longs or putting on a new long here with a reasonable stop. Now, if it's going to come down, I think you can use this here anywhere in this range here, but I would use under the 50 as a stop out because note here, there's not much support here. If we get below the 38, it's likely the potential is that we could fall further down here, right? So and then if you just go swing high to swing low, there's some vulnerability here. Right, so if we're going to go swing, if it's going to come down lower, well, you can see this cluster down here. So if you were to long it here, my suggestion would be not take the drawdown as it keeps going down in case this count ends up getting invalidated. So I think you could be a buyer at this pivot here in this range. So anywhere from 86 to, let's call it 89. I think there's a reasonable place for a swing trade to enter looking for this kind of a move. So let's put a P&L on it or a risk reward and say, okay, well, if we can buy it here and let's be reasonable about a target here and put a stop here. So that's a bigger stop. So you're not quite, there's 3 to 1 right there. Okay. So at least you can get a 3 to 1. So I'd tee this up here and, you know, do it on your own machine and bring out the risk reward meter here and say, okay, based on size and account size and risk tolerance and trading plan, there's an entry here that seems very just nicely lined up. So the count kind of cleans up, lends itself to this. If this is going to be as an ABC and we can come down into this range, so if you can buy it in here again, high 88 and change, anywhere in that with a stop under the 50. So you might put it just under 8,000, round number, maybe give it a few more ticks. Just so that, because that round number, if it's going to start to correct deeper, that will often be a magnet. But note here, there's a bit of a gap here where this could fall further. So that would be my suggestion. I do think I will be taking that there. Not loading the boat, but I think there's certainly there's a trade sitting there waiting with reasonable risk reward. Again, be reasonable about how far that's likely to go. Right, so you're not. This is a trade, not an investment. But I do think that's a solid entry with a reasonable risk reward. If you can get 3 to 1 there, I think you'd be happy about that. All right, guys, that's just a quick update here for a Saturday morning, and we'll be revisiting this early next week. But I wanted to clarify this whole deal because I guess I wasn't clear about it. Okay, there you go. Have a good weekend.